So here we have our bumper cover. Obviously it's hit something, the paint's cracked, scraped, spiderweb, what have you. There and there are two major areas of concern, although there's some stuff all over it and it's full of chips. I'm not going to worry about all the chips, just basically concerned with this big ugly part here and that down there. But we'll fix as much of it as we can. So basically we're going to start some 80 grit on a DA, sand all this stuff off, get it down to the plastic wherever the paint's cracked. You can start with 180, it's a little easier on the plastic, but I just like to get it off quick. So 80 grit, and I'll be back with that. Okay, I changed my mind on the grit. I'm going to just use 180 since I don't really see any deep gouges in the plastic. It's mostly just paint and paint cracks and stuff. So if the plastic was gouged up, I'd sand that out with 80 grit. So let's try some 180. Cracked. You can see how these lines are cracks. You want to go ahead and sand it all the way off to the plastic. And other than that, just feather it out. I'll keep going on the rest of it down here. And then we'll scuff the whole thing down with some Scotch-Brite. And here we find why it cracked so bad here is because there's body filler in it. All this blue, green right here, yellow, whatever it looks like. But so I'm sanding that out, and hopefully there's no reason for it to be there. They just put it there because they didn't want to feather out the damage. This is generally I'll take 80 grit and sand the plastic smooth if it's gouged, rather than putting putty in it, because you put body filler in it and then it gets impacted, and this is what happens, it'll crack. So I'll just keep going and sand that out. It looks like it's going to come out up here. This is this plastic on the bumper cover, and you can see it's gone, versus right here where there's still showing the stress cracks. We'll see. Alright, so here I sanded off all the body filler here till all the cracks are gone, and that feels pretty good. I don't really see why it was there. You can see it's still all this here. Underneath here is all body filler. Not sure why it's there, and I don't want to find out why it's there, so I'm not going to go any further with that than I have to. Feathered out the damage and it feels good, so we're going to call that spot good and move on to this down here and those scratches over there and here. Alright, got another indentation here. Either I'll just try priming over that, or I may put a little bit of glaze on it. I don't really want to get into too much on this. I could probably feather it out with 80 grit and then prime it. We'll see. Anyway, the reason I turned the camera back on is because this spot here, this bumper has been driven up onto something. This was pushed up to the point that this is bulged out right here. Usually I heat that up with a heat gun and press it in and then blow air on it to cool it off. And you can get it to go back to its shape for the most part. I don't have a heat gun here. So I was going to use a propane torch, which is inside the house, for lighting fires in the wood stove. But I got this little soldering torch out here. I'm going to try that real quick and see what happens. Alright. It's not bulging out now, so that's good. It might be actually indented a little bit now, which is fine. Yeah. So I will grab some 80 grit on the DA and sand that out a little bit. See what it looks like. I'll probably have to put a little glaze on there. And it's just fine because I'll probably do that spot too. And maybe then we'll be ready to scuff it and get it ready for primer. This right here would have came out better, but I didn't realize how hot I had actually gotten it with that little torch, so when I pushed on it with the blowgun to push it in, I gouged it because the plastic was so soft right there. If it wasn't for that, those two little nicks, it would have been fine. I could have feathered that out with 80 then 180 and primed it. This I'm doing just because I have to. Can't leave that. Excellent work. The help has arrived, as you can tell. Alright. Put a little glaze on those. Sand it out to 180. And now I'm going to sand the rest of the bumper with 500. Because that's what's in my hand. And then we'll mask it up for some primer. So I'm going to DA this on all the flat spots with 500. Everything curved and whatever. I'm just going to have Angel red Scotch-Brite it. Just she's excited about that. These more cracks down here.
What? Are they bad?
Huh?
Are they real bad?
Well, when are cracks real good?
I don't know.
That's a real good crack. Leave it. Why are you hitting me in the head with the camera?
I don't know.
I can't tell. I'm gonna need some coarser gonna have to go back to
It
some
just
180.
looks, I don't know, it looks like just a scratch to me, or a gouge. Kind of scratchy.
Well, I could let it go, but can't.
Are you really gonna notice that?
Am I gonna notice it?
Well, are other people gonna notice that?
No.
Exactly. Sir, this isn't a show car.
It will be.
Or is it?
Up here. And make sure to have good help. Or at least free help. One or the other. Preferably free help.
Free.
Red Scotch Brite. And we'll mask this off and prime it. Oh! What do you know? Somebody's got a phone call. Better get on that phone,
What
sir.
happens with free help? They always on the phone.
Alright, were you asking about the antenna or this grill?
The antenna.
The grill is one of those things that it would actually be faster to take it out than to tape it off. But since I decided I wasn't taking anything apart, we're gonna stick with that wire. Same with the headlights, they come out real easy too. But we're doing this Mako style. Well, better than Mako, but with the Mako theme. We've already surpassed Mako standards. I'm not talking about the Canadian Makos, just the ones around here. For anybody that might work at one again. That watches their YouTube videos. Around here, the Makos, not so good. See. Oh, I was gonna buff the headlights after I primed it, but before I painted it, and apparently I'm not now because I'm just gonna mask it up once. So I'll do that afterwards. That sucks because now I'll be
funny.
getting compound all over the paint.
There's a nice clean spot. Headlights.
And the hood covers that, yeah.
It looks pretty bad.
Not on my watch.
Maybe when you cut that, just pull the rest of it under the car.
You could probably use some of that spare that you're cutting off to cover the wheels and tires with. Right?
Yeah, sure. That was a good idea. You hear that, Jim?
I didn't.
It's got the front wheels, the tires all doused up, the garbage bag on this side, and the extra plastic from the front of the car on this side.
There was tape falling down here. I was just trying to make sure it was.
Wax and grease remover. Clean it.
Smell it?
And smell it with the propane. It smells good. And then anywhere you have bare plastic areas,
It's some Bulldog.
Anywhere.
get some Bulldog or some kind of plastic.
Plastic
Primer.
adhesion,
This is
adhesion promoter.
Yeah. We'll see what this smells like with it. This stuff stinks. Just on the bare plastic.
How do you know if it's bare plastic?
Because you sanded down to it when you were fixing the damage. I want to test a small area first. Sometimes on stuff that's been repaired, if you get this on the primer edge, it will lift it.
That's weird.
It does. But we'll just assume everything's going to be fine.
Because it always did.
Because everything always works out great around here. Put a light coat on. That way the paint doesn't just peel off of those spots. You know, and it's just a small area, I don't really worry about it. But if there's a big patch of bare plastic. And now we'll go mix up some primer. Yeah, see? Make sure you pick a real good gun that won't shut off. So it just sprays all the time.
Is your gun acting weird?
Huh?
The gun acting weird?
That's dirty.
Oh. Did you not
Good.
clean it last time?
I don't think I've ever cleaned it. Oh man, look at that. Splattered all over the place. Dripping and shit.
You're just priming the spots that you repaired?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Wherever I sanded it down. Because there's chips all over the place, and while it won't fill them in, it might make them a little less noticeable. Oh yeah. Put about 3 good coats over that, and that'll be it. Okay, now as primer, you want to apply your guide coat. I like to put the guide coat on while the primer's still a little wet, so it kind of sinks in a little bit. I don't think it matters.
You know, if you just keep going, though, you can be done.
Yeah, and being that your car is black you're working on, just keep going with this until it's completely covered, and then you're done. So we'll bake this with our little light here. It's gonna get cold in here overnight, and I want to make sure it's cured by the time I get home from work tomorrow. So we'll bake it, and that'll be it until we sand it tomorrow.
Oh yay. What are we sanding it with? Sandpaper?
We or me or you
I don't know.
or Jim?
Jim.
I'm probably gonna go over the 500 dry
Yeah.
and then paint over that.
Cool.
Okay, it's the next day. I'm gonna take 500 on the DA. Just cruise over this thing. I could wet sand it, but don't feel like making a big sloppy mess in here, so I like dry sanding. $500 is fine. You can paint over dry 500 grit, especially if it's black or any solid color. Basically just sand it until it's smooth, so it looks like this versus this. This, as you can see, this is the edge where I sanded through the bare plastic. You'll get that, it'll kind of react a little bit and You'll see the edge. Just keep sanding until it's all smooth. Yeah, I've got it all sanded out to 500, and then red Scotch-Brite everywhere else. Got all the edges real good again. And now I'm going to clean this place up. Blow this thing off. And get ready to spray some base. That's the first coat of base. Oh, the music stopped just in time. And let that flash off and throw another coat of base on, and then we should be ready to clear. Alright, here's the base all flashed off. I think it looks good like this. So anyway, I'm going to put one more coat of base on, and then some clear. Good talk. Alright, there's 2 coats of base on. They're dry. And let's go mix up some clear. Oh boy. Alright, you're ready for clear. I'm not going to leave this running for too long because I don't want to get overspray all over this camera, but I'll leave it running for a minute. Come back and take a look at that after it flashes off or after I'm done. Whichever way this works out. 2 coats. It's painted in a dirty garage, so of course it's dirty. Some of it's dirt, some of it's rock chips. Yeah, I did as good a job as I could within the time frame I had. But yeah, basically that's how you can do it. Fast, somewhat cheap, pretty easy. Looks a million times better than it did. There it be. Obviously, there's other ways to do it which are better, like pull the bumper off the car. That's the main thing on this one. But I didn't want to get into that, although it would have been faster. I wouldn't have to mash off the car or anything. The bumper's broken on this corner. Yeah, the tabs are broke off that clip into the clip underneath that bottom of that fender. So I came up with a way to mount it so it's on there. So I figured I'd leave it on there rather than take it off and run into something else that I wasn't prepared for. So yeah, there it is.